Hello, I'm DrMooCowz, and I'm trying out a new type of video. This will be kind of a recap of things I was up to in the month of January, so kind of a monthly update. I'm hoping this will be kind of a series that will be going on longer term, assuming it's well received. Yeah, I think a lot of my videos that I've been uploading, they've either been, personal bests for speed runs or 1cc's of games, or back when I was doing some of the challenge things with the Atari 2600 Activision patches and the 1cc alphabet shmup challenge. um, you know it depends on what types of games I'm playing, and not everything I do is necessarily conducive for doing putting out those types of videos in a consistent manner. So I was thinking, I could try something like this that will at least like give something once a month, and it also just kind of gives maybe a more of a brief recap of things I've been up to. So we'll see how this one goes, and for the very first one, and we'll see how well it's received, and I hope you all enjoy it. For games I streamed in January 2026, not a whole lot of variety this past month. I've mostly been playing Final Fantasy Tactics on the original PlayStation. I participated in 4 of the 5 Toe Jam and Earl speedrun races, and I did a tiny bit of Atari 2600 for the Atari Age High Score Club, but I will go into more detail about that a little bit later in the video. But for Final Fantasy Tactics, I have mechanisms in place for the stream, where viewers can request we play a game for one stream via the channel points, or in this case, this was a long term game where spend, I think as of right now it's 150,000 channel points, which is a lot. But it promises that I will play a game mostly to completion unless I hate it or something along those lines. But this is what I've been wanting to play for a very, very long time, and yeah, so this what this one was a long game redeem request, and yeah, I've been really enjoying Final Fantasy Tactics. It's You can see some of the footage being played up in the corner here, but the yeah, it's a lot more in depth than I maybe initially thought it was going to be, and definitely like a lot more story than I thought it was going to be as well. And it's kind of intricate, and in some ways, like it's still a bit confusing to me. Think I still haven't fully processed everything that's been happening as far as the story is concerned. But as far as like the actual gameplay, I think it was kind of right where I expected it to be. There's a bit more depth to it than I was anticipating, even uh, saying that. But yeah, I've really liked enjoying like uh, exploring the job system in this game. The main character Ramza, but I renamed to Moo. Um, Definitely a lot of exploration into different jobs. I haven't quite settled in on uh, what I've wanted to go with long term. It keeps kind of changing, and I think that's also kind of to the game's credit too. That like, you don't necessarily have to do a one size fits all type of thing throughout the entire game as well. But yeah, it's been really enjoying playing through this one. I'm kind of curious to, I should also say too that as of the recording of this right now, I'm not quite finished with the game yet, so that'll bleed over into February. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. Just probably still a lot of like mechanisms in the game I haven't fully grasped or even like explored or discovered as of yet too. But yeah, there's a lot of depth, and I can see the replayability. And there's the newer remake that came out late last year that's been very well received too. And kind of a little curious to kind of dig into that maybe a bit as well. That might be something I do in my own uh, offline time, to use that term. But yeah, really enjoying Final Fantasy Tactics, and I'll continue to do so in a little bit into February. And as far as Toe Jam and Earl, you should see the results just above my shoulder here for the races I participated in. There's 4 races that I did. Um, yeah, a little bit abnormal that I got a couple of first place finishes. That generally doesn't happen for me most of the time, but it's for me, like I take this, I don't take it as like a super serious competitive thing. It's mostly just for fun. And I just think it's really cool that there's a community of people that enjoy playing Toe Jam and Earl as well in a speedrun setting. Um, and as far as like the random world races, we don't use the same seed. We all just do our own random world, and you just kind of get what you get, and we just kind of play it out like that. And yeah, it's been really cool doing this for several years, and I was glad I got to participate in most of them for the month of January. And I should also like note that the I think this was the January 17th race, maybe, or perhaps it is. I don't remember which one it was, but I ended with the slam dunk finish, which was basically like there happened to be a ship piece on level 24. There's 25 levels in the game. Um, I found the elevator quickly on 24, so I opted to go up to level 25, find the last piece there, and then jump down back to level 24, hoping I would land close to it to finish the run. But in that particular case, I slam dunked, as they called it, just like right on top of the the last piece, and it really startled me, like on it, and really happy I got the clip of that, and you should have been watching while I've been speaking about this. But yeah, so Toe Jam and Earl speedrun races every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, whether I'm participating or not. But that is generally what I do for the Saturday stuff, and I'll get some other Toe Jam and Earl speedruns in before and after the race, and that's kind of how I've typically consumed Toe Jam and Earl. For other games that I've played off stream or offline or non stream games, whatever you would prefer to call it, a few things of note here. I've mostly been spending a lot of my time playing Diablo 4. Um, I'm not going to show any footage of that game because as I was looking up trailers for that one, I noticed there was a lot of like, hey, you need to sign in and confirm your age to watch this, and I don't want it to get dinged from YouTube about this at all. But yeah, I've been playing Diablo 4 with my buddy Eight Punches. We've been playing games together for a very, very long time, just various things that you can play online for several years. And uh, PlayStation Plus, did I get that right? Yeah, PlayStation Plus, that they released Diablo 4 for free, I think back in July of 2025. It's like, oh, okay, we'll snag that and we'll get to playing that at some point in time. And we've been doing that for a few months. We're not quite through the story in that game, but man, that game just has like so much depth to it for as far as the whole Paragon thing, and the amount of like options that like the various classes have in it too. It's pretty pretty interesting, but it's also really overwhelming at the same time. But it's also like, hey, I just want to. It's a still like a dungeon crawler at its core, right? Like I just want to fight stuff, and that's mostly what that game's been, and that'll be continuing into the next month as well. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that one so far. Another game that I've been playing for several years because there's just a lot of content in it is Pacross S Genesis and Master System Edition on the Nintendo Switch. Um, yeah, the footage that is playing is me doing one of the puzzles and to kind of show where I'm at in the game. But yeah, it's Pacross just in general. It doesn't matter which version you're playing. It's nice to kind of just like, hey, I have like 10, 15 minutes or so and just kind of want to relax and chill out a bit. And it's a nice puzzle game to put it together. And I like the Genesis and Master System theme to it as well. I think the only maybe real complaint I have in that game is I wish there was more music options in it, although I really like the music that they chose. But yeah, I wish there was more variety to it. But yeah, that's just something I'll probably continue doing until every puzzle in that game's complete. And yeah, this could be another year or two before that finishes. But yeah, I just thought it would be worth mentioning. That is something that I played in offline as well. So this segment may not be there every single one of these videos for pickups. For a lot of reasons I don't really want to go into right now, just for the sake of time. My collecting is very much in a decline on things I'm trying to find. But you know, 4 games, 3 physicals here, and 1 digital that I snagged in January, and they pretty much have nothing to do with each other. And first up is Action Bass on the PlayStation 1. You can see the controller that's above my shoulder here. I'm still on the hunt for this particular controller just to try to get some quote unquote authenticity into these fishing games on PlayStation 1. This one happens to be compatible with that. But really, I'm after another game called Big Ol' Bass 2 that just kind of looks like this wild, unhinged fishing game. Uh, I'm looking forward to trying that out at some point in time, and we'll just kind of see how it goes for hunting that down and when that might actually happen on stream. And the next up is Disney's Kim Possible What's the Switch? I can't say I've ever watched this show pretty much once in my life. Like, I know it's a show, like cartoon. I don't know. I mean, obviously Disney. I couldn't tell you like exactly when it was on the air, but you take a probably a solid guess with the PlayStation 2 era. But anyway, the actual gameplay of this actually looks pretty interesting in it, and it was a bit of an impulse purchase. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out at some point in time as well, and just see what this is about. And last of the physicals, the PlayStation 3 is still fairly new to me, and I've looked up various games that are still exclusive to the PlayStation 3 or haven't been ported elsewhere. And I think this game Folklore qualifies as that. Yeah, this one looks pretty interesting to me as well. Adventure waits on the other side. There exists a village where the living can speak to the dead. And I mean, that's kind of already sold me enough there. 2 strangers will find themselves thrown into the wonders and dangers of the netherworld to discover its secrets. So yeah, this is pretty cool. We got a full manual, everything in it. I guess I didn't show that in the others, but same thing there. For disc-based stuff, I'm always looking for complete in box, and that's what we have for here on Folklore. And then lastly, a digital game I picked up on the Nintendo Switch. It is Rick Henderson, not this Ricky Henderson, not the legendary leadoff hitter, mostly for the Oakland A's, but Rick Henderson on the Nintendo Switch. Well, I mean, I guess I haven't played it yet, so maybe it has something to do with Ricky Henderson. I guess I'll have to find out at some point. But yeah, it looks like a really cool 16-bit style shoot 'em up. Yeah, as you may or may not know, I really love shoot 'em ups. Yeah, this one was uh, reduced in price quite a bit on the eShop, and I went ahead and snagged it for when I'm going to play it. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it looks really cool to me. I became aware of it from there's a company called VGNY Soft that makes physicals of stuff, and they had a physical of Rick Henderson, but I think it was just like the digital versus the physical on this one. Like the cost difference was just I'll just get the digital in this case. And but yeah, they're a great company. I've bought like several things from them, and yeah, it's everything's always been good. But anyway, so that's Rick Henderson for the Nintendo Switch. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Super MAGFest 2026. I attended that convention earlier in the month of January. It's the first time I've been to that particular convention that's been around for like 20-ish years, maybe a bit more or something like that. The main reason I went was a friend of mine, Andrew, has been wanting me to like go and participate in this the MAGFest Community Orchestra, which is what this T-shirt I'm wearing is from. It was a really cool experience for that. I'll get more into later, but yeah, basically, like MAGFest itself is it stands for Music and Gaming Festival. Um, yeah, just typical like vendor stuff you'd expect at a gaming convention. Uh, there's a console room with just practically everything you can imagine in there. There's places to set up for like tournaments if you wanted to do things like that. There's an arcade hall. There's a museum that has like a lot of the like more I don't know if I'd call them obscure, but like older computers that you probably wouldn't normally have access to mess around with. And then you know I'm maybe giving it a bit of a disservice on this. There was a speedrun room as well, MAGFest that I sat in for a little bit, but yeah, there's just like music things everywhere. The There's like a main concert stage where some of the bigger acts play. There's a auxiliary stage. There is um, a chip tune area that was really cool to kind of check that out as well as like there's just like places in like the hallways where there's like it's taped off, and then anybody can go in there and just do whatever they want. There's just like music stuff everywhere. It's just really cool to be around like a bunch of fellow nerds with a similar interests with this regard, and I think that was kind of maybe the best takeaway on it for me was just like the whole vibe of everybody, just having a good time, not judging, and with all the lot of like a lot of bad stuff like happening in the world right now. It's good to know like there's still like a place where you can just be yourself and don't worry about the judgment of others or other like bigoted related things that exist in the world. So like that was really cool. And then yeah, I also got to meet a few other fellow streamers, that was a really big highlight. And then Katana is here now to help out with the rest of Magfest. You gonna come over here? All right, I'll just let her do her thing. This is pretty typical and what happens on streams most of the time anyway. But yeah, as far as the orchestra is concerned, that was a really cool experience doing that. From my understanding, it was around like 200-ish people last year for the full orchestra and choir. There goes Katana. She'll be back maybe. And meow in the distance. That's fine. Um, but yeah, this year it really exploded into, I think the official total for the orchestra and choir was 391 people, which is easily like the biggest group of people I've ever played with for musical composition or a musical group is concerned. Um, there were 22 trombones in this, which is, again, that kind of dwarfs anything I've ever played with. And it was awesome, like meeting a lot of the other trombone players and just people in the orchestra in general. Like, basically impossible to like talk to every single person that was involved, but yeah, it was great. Just playing video game music on however the selection process goes with that, and then the highlight for the um, I guess I should say like a big shout out to the staff that helped organize all of that too. They had like a big. I can't imagine like how stressful that was trying to expect like 200 and getting double that and figuring out like logistics of how all that works. And we did the best we could for cramming us all into one room for like rehearsals, and had not a lot of room to play, but it's we made it work. And then the actual performance in the atrium, which was pretty awesome as well, with the it's kind of laid out where like it's I don't know how tall that building is for where the convention was, but yeah, you can see like a lot of the hotel room balconies like along the walls, like several floors up, people watching from there, and just a lot of people gathered in this big echoey area, and just yeah, it was just all really really fun, and just really enjoyed everything about it, and hope I can get back to it and try again next year to see if I can go to it again. And I have this nice creative energy that I've been wanting to like funnel into finding more raid tunes on my horn for when raids happen on stream. And I'm even thinking about kind of dipping into some chiptune creation as well, which is something I kind of wanted to do when I was in college, but the market kind of changed, and things have circled back again now. But yeah, mostly just for fun, just messing around, and we'll just see how that goes. And that wraps up my January 2026 recap for Twitch and things related to Twitch that I've done. Hopefully, this will be well received. Let me know in the comments or elsewhere, wherever you want to communicate with me. Um, yeah, appreciate you all watching. Looking kind of at the request list of games there's a strong chance they'll happen in February. Darkwing Duck on the TurboGrafx 16, Donkey Kong Country 2. There'll be a long play of that one, and maybe even Plock on the Super Nintendo. Um, and of course, Final Fantasy Tactics. I'll be keep going with that until that one wraps up, which I'm not quite sure how close I am in that regard. I think it's close. It feels like the story is wrapping up on that one. And then I'll have another Super Nintendo game from my choice. I kind of rotate between request, my choice, depending on what this wheel that I use that kind of guides me. Um, it'll be for the Super Nintendo. The only hint I'm going to give about it is basketball, but it might not be what you're thinking with that hint. But again, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate you hanging out in schedule as of right now, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Tuesdays is going to be kind of a new thing for me in February that I'll be trying out. 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays for the Toe Jam and Earl race, and Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day, night, whatever time it might be for you. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Later.